For 20 long years, a shadow hung over Israel, a darkness not born of night, but of despair, an ache that seeped into the soil, coiled into the stones, and climbed into the bones of every man, woman, and child. The land, once flowing with milk and honey, now flowed with blood and silence. Joy became a fading echo in the hearts of the people. Peace, a ghost wandering through barren fields. Even the wind seemed to carry sorrow in its breath. The skies above grew heavy with unanswered prayers. Smoke rose not from altars of praise, but from burning villages. Laughter had become a foreign sound, known only to memory, and memory itself began to dim. Jabin, the king of Canaan, reigned from his fortified citadel in Hazor. He was not just a ruler, he was a tyrant, sculpted by cruelty, sharpened through conquest, and adorned in the blood of nations. His court was one of fear, not reverence. His word was law. His law was brutality. He was worshipped not because he was loved, but because he held the keys to torment. Over him ruled the blade of his might, Sisera, commander of his dreaded armies. Sisera, whose name echoed like a curse in the streets of Israelite towns, a warlord with eyes that saw only targets, and hands that knew only the weight of the sword. His armor clanked like thunder when he walked, and the ground trembled when he marched. His war machine was legend. 900 iron chariots, massive beasts, forged of blackened steel and dread. Their wheels ground the earth into dust. Their spikes tore through ranks like wind through wheat. Cities fell before they even arrived. Resistance was suicide. Submission was survival. Israel crumbled under his heel. The 12 tribes, once united in spirit, were now scattered and trembling. Their songs were replaced by silence. Their temples, desecrated or abandoned. Roads once bustling with caravans and festivals now lay empty, haunted by the memory of better days. The marketplaces were still. Stalls that once burst with color now sagged beneath cobwebs. Children learned to whisper instead of sing. Women drew water before dawn, their eyes cast down, lest a soldier's gaze fall upon them. Husbands watched helplessly as their sons were taken for conscription or servitude, as their daughters were led away into captivity. Weddings became funerals. Harvests rotted in the fields, left untouched by hands too afraid to be seen. Bread was broken in silence, and tears flavored every meal. The priests no longer blew trumpets in the temple. The Levites, once keepers of the sacred flame, now hid among the rocks, wondering if the God of Israel had abandoned them. No sword was drawn in Israel, no shield lifted in resistance. The warriors of old, those who had followed Joshua, who had seen the walls of Jericho crumble, were long gone, buried beneath the dust of time. Their tales lived on only in whispers by the fireside, and even those whispers grew few. The mighty hands that once pulled bowstrings now trembled with hunger. The songs of deliverance, songs that spoke of the Red Sea parting, of the plagues of Egypt, of water from the rock, were fading echoes in the minds of children who had never seen a miracle. But above all, God watched. Not with eyes of indifference, nor with arms folded in divine detachment. He watched with the broken heart of a father who had chosen these people not for their strength, but for their promise. A father who had walked with them through the desert, who had carried them through the wilderness, who had etched his covenant into their very souls. But now, that covenant was forgotten, not by God, but by his people. They had exchanged the glory of the living God for idols of stone and wood. They built altars to Baal. They danced around Asherah poles. They sacrificed the purity of their worship for fleeting pleasures and pagan ritual. They bowed not in reverence, but in compromise. The voice of the Almighty was drowned beneath chants to false gods. His law was trampled beneath the feet of their lust. The smoke of their offerings no longer reached heaven, for their hearts were no longer pure. And yet he waited. He waited not because he was powerless, but because his mercy was boundless. Like a father standing at the gate, he waited for their return. Like a shepherd searching the hills, he longed to restore them, but he would not force them. He would not coerce love. He would wait for the cry, and finally, the cry came. It came not in the form of kings or priests. It began as a groan, a gasp for air from a soul too long submerged in sorrow. It started in the hidden places, in the hut of a widow, in the tent of a broken warrior, in the cave of a forgotten priest. A whisper, a plea, a prayer, and then another, and another, until the sound became a song of desperation, rising like incense into the heavens. And the throne of God stirred. Yahweh, Lord of hosts, leaned close. He would answer not with fire from heaven, nor with the blade of angels,